Welcome back to r/LegalAdvice, where we read surprisingly interesting stories that in fact actually happened. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community. And without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, "My ex dropped our daughter off with me for a sleepover a month ago. She has disappeared and closed almost all avenues of communication. Where do I go from here?" This is a little weird, I know. Hear me out though. I've always had a little bit of a rocky relationship with my ex. We were both young dumb kids in love and it ended badly. A 7-month marriage and 1 kid later, we both ended it on very bad terms. When my daughter was born, my ex got full custody. I'm not going to argue with that decision at the time, as she was much better off than I was. Over the past 6 years though, my career took off and I ended up in a very well-off situation. My ex, however, never grew out of her party girl lifestyle and pretty much has ran into the ground. I have kept a working relationship with my ex only for the sake of our daughter and have been in her life as much as possible and have got the court to give me weekend custody. Sorry about that backstory, here's my problem. Last month, out of nowhere, my ex blew me up with texts telling me that I needed to take our daughter for a day or 2. Her reason was she was planning on moving to a new apartment and wanted our daughter to be with me instead of staying at a friend's with her. Well, her dropping our daughter off was the last I saw or heard of her. For the past month, I have been playing Where in the World is My Ex-Wife? For almost 2 weeks after I called and texted her daily before her number got disconnected. I looked into the apartment that she had and the friend she was staying with also do not exist. The only close friend I could get into contact with was her, now ex-boyfriend, and he says she quit her job and broke up with him the day before she dropped her daughter off at my house. I have tried to contact her family, but none of them will talk to me. This all is super effing confusing, and to top it off, this morning my bank called me to inform me that the account my child support payments are direct deposited to was closed. Right now I am not only confused, but concerned. My daughter is my first concern here, and just telling her mommy is on vacation is not going to work forever. I need advice now. If my ex wanted to F off and start a new life, then Godspeed, but I need to know how to handle my daughter. Technically, I missed my child support payment, so I feel like I need to act fast. Should I try and get full custody now, and how should I go about this? Do I need a lawyer in this situation? Should I report my ex missing? Update, thank you all for the advice, I really appreciate it. It is early and I am on my phone, but I thought I would give a brief update. But guys, before we read the update, we will read the comment that led to the update. Possibly. User Mrs. Mayhem says, "I agree that you should contact the police. Worst case scenario is that she harmed herself. I only say that because she seemed to have cleaned up all loose ends in her life in one go. Ended her relationship, quit her job, left her housing, closed her bank account, left her kid with the responsible other parent. If she was just effing off to a new life, I would think she would keep her bank account as an easier way to pay for it. Unless she was afraid it would be used to track her. Does your daughter have a relationship with your ex-in-laws? I find it weird that they won't talk to you about their granddaughter's well-being." And you know guys, one thing I'm always wondering about in these custody stories, it sounds like in the US it is much easier for the mother of the child to get custody instead of the dad. In case I totally got that wrong, please correct me. Anyway, onto the update. The police were notified of the situation very shortly after I made this post. They made a wellness check and things have become much more complicated. I will be meeting with my attorney today to look into getting temporary custody. My daughter is safe and I am looking into counseling options to help work through this. I will update in the future, just know my ex is not dead, at least that we know. And actually I did some digging on the OP and apparently in the end he did get custody for his daughter, so it all turned out well. And the next one is titled, "Doctor sent me to get blood work at an in-network diagnostic center and I've been sent a $1,700 bill with a note saying these charges were denied payment by insurance based on the diagnosis reported by the physician." The title basically says it all. This is in California. I went in for a checkup with a new doctor since I have not been to a doctor in about 8 years. He ordered blood tests and then never called me for a follow-up, so I never went back, assuming the blood tests came back fine. Now I have this huge bill from the blood test center that has been denied by insurance. I only make 18k a year since I only work part-time while I am in school and I spend it all on bills. I have no savings and I have no way to pay for this. What should I do? And a user in the comments said, tell your doctor what happened and ask him to change the diagnostic code and resubmit. I worked in a doctor's office and we have done this before. Another user says, usually they will need to write a letter clarifying why the tests were necessary. In addition, I would just like to ask a quick question to my American viewers. What kind of health insurance do you have, if any? Let's say you get into an accident and you would have to pay up to 50k in hospital fees. Who would pay for that? Please feel free to let me know in the comments because I am curious. Update: charged $1,700 for lab work that insurance denied as medically unnecessary. Fixed. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to everyone who commented and gave advice. I really appreciate all the help. Here is what I ended up doing. I called my own insurance company to find out why it was denied. I found out that because of my dad's specific insurance plan, I was supposed to go to a specific doctor's office and lab for my yearly checkup and blood work that is near my parents' house because the insurance has a specific contract with them. However, I did not go there because I live a few hundred miles away. However, my address is listed as my parents' address, so the insurance company thought I lived nearby. They said I could appeal with an address change, but the woman on the phone was very upfront and said that those never get approved. She said that if I could get my doctor to change the billing code, just like all of you said, you noble wonderful people, then the insurance company would review it. She also said that the old code had to be removed and a new one put in place. The new billing could not have both codes on it. So I went to my doctor's office and brought in my bill. The admin at the front was so sympathetic and understanding and promised to take care of it within the next few days. I told her everything that the insurance lady told me and she wrote it all down and clipped it to a copy of my bill. She said that the diagnostics place never even sent them my results. By that Friday, she had gotten my results and had me come in to find what they were, resubmitted the claim to insurance and put a hold on all payments until it was figured out. Today I got my new bill in the mail, all of the blood work was covered, my new bill is $0. I cried all over the place, you guys. I am planning on bringing that admin a thank you card and maybe a Starbucks card and flowers. Hopefully she's allowed to take them. Thank you all so much for all of your advice and help. You are all the best. You literally helped me from having to pay 10% of my yearly wages. Plus, I started saving up in preparation for having to pay this bill, so now I have the beginnings of a little nest egg/emergency fund just in case something happens in the future. Again, you guys rock. And by the way, what has been the biggest hospital bill that you had to pay out of your own pocket? Let us know in the comments because I'm curious. Besides that, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Your support means the world to me, thank you so much, and it is incredibly important for the YouTube algorithm. And the next one is titled, My father and stepmother died, leaving me 19 male and my stepsister 8 female. My stepsister's father, who has previously never cared about her, is getting full custody and has told me he won't allow me to visit. Is there anything I can do? Hi. So, my life is falling apart. As the title says, a few weeks ago, my father and my stepmother were killed in a car accident. They have been married for 7 years and my stepmother had a daughter from a previous marriage who is 8 years old. I love her unconditionally as if she were my own sister and I would fight tooth and nail to keep her safe. She has no immediate family other than her father in the area, so he is going to receive full custody of her. I don't know if subjective opinions are allowed in posts like this, but this guy is a effing a-hole. The reason my stepmother left him is because he was abusive, which was never reported to the police, but I know several people who have witnessed it firsthand, so it absolutely 100% happened. And the reason he was abusive was because my stepsister was born and he did not want a child. As a result, he has never given a crap about her, never asked to see her, and has never wanted anything to do with her until now. I was at home with my stepsister a few days ago and he knocked on the door. I opened it and we had a really ugly conversation about what was going to happen to my stepsister now that her mother and my father were dead. I told him that if he did end up having custody, I would want to be seeing her as often as possible as I consider her my family. He told me, verbatim, "That's not gonna happen, son. I don't want my daughter spending time with half-caste blood." He is referring to the fact that my father is mixed race and that I am too as a result. I slammed the door. I was absolutely livid, which brings me to this post. So, basically, I have a few questions. First, can anything be done to stop him having custody? There are no police reports about his abuse. His criminal record is clean by all the research I have completed. Third, at the very least, could I contend in a court that I have visiting rights to her? I am not actually related to her, so I'm not sure what the standing is there. Third, if it's not possible to force allowed visits, is there any way I can straight up adopt my stepsister? I have an office job that pays well, so financial security would not be a problem. I have an apartment of my own and I would be 100% willing to be her full-time guardian. Added, I want to make it absolutely clear that my sister does not want to live with her dad and she says she wants to live with me. Thank you so much to anyone who responds to this. I am at my wit's end and I will do literally anything to keep my stepsister close to me and I don't care about the cost. And guys, before we read a very helpful comment to the story, please try to give your suggestions on what OP could do in this situation in the comments. On to the update, a user said, "I went through a similar situation when I was your age and did get full custody of my little sister. Please call a family law lawyer and they can help you navigate this. Don't hand over your sister to her dad as he might be able to take her legal from you since the previous parenting plan would not protect that from happening. Ask the lawyer about filing an emergency temporary parenting plan so you can have custody of your sister until this is all sorted out. Make sure your sister's school knows what's going on and the school paperwork does not allow her dad to take her out of school. Also, call your local court and ask about legal aid services in your area, as some attorneys will take a case like this pro bono, so you won't have to pay anything. Good luck. And now let's see, or let's hope, the story turns out well." Update to the stepsister story from before. So, after one of the most stressful months of my life, I can happily tell you all that I got custody of my stepsister. I did as many of you suggested and got a family lawyer who was one of the most kind and helpful people I have ever met in my life. I told her the circumstances of my stepmom and dad's death through tears and sobbing and then told me she would do everything she possibly could to help me. After my stepsister's bio dad was informed that I would be trying to get full custody, he basically folded within hours. The lawyer told me that it would not have mattered anyway though. She said that because he had not visited her for such an extended period of time that it was considered abandonment in the eyes of the law, and the likelihood of him specifically getting custody was unlikely because of this. After her bio dad said he did not want my stepsister, I then spent weeks and weeks filling out the right papers and seeing the right people. I have never signed so many things in my entire life. Because my stepsister had no biological family other than her crazy dad, and I was given custody on a silver platter according to my lawyer. Her biological dad did not ask for visitation rights and it appears he did not even care in the first place, he just wanted my stepsister for no reason other than to further upset me. Yesterday, I signed the last piece of paper that confirmed that I had 100% custody of my stepsister. After I signed, we both cried and cried for hours. We are both working on processing the death of her mom and my dad. As I write this, she is asleep next to me with her head on my shoulder. The past months have hands down been the worst of my entire life. I consider meeting my stepsister the best that has ever happened to me, and adopting her is the single best decision I have ever made. These events have made me realize that family is not just DNA based, it is actionable investments in the life of someone you love. Thank you so much for all of the people who helped me in my first thread. I owe all of you for the rest of your lives. Once I turn 21, if any of you all are in the Aberdeen area, drinks are on me. I hope you all lead wonderful lives. Give your loved ones a big hug for me. And of course guys, once again, I have to apologize for cutting all these onions in the videos, but honestly, these wholesome r/legal advice stories are just awesome. On a side note, do you prefer the stories that have a happy, more wholesome ending, or do you prefer the traumatic ones where you don't really know what happens? Let me know in the comments. And the last two stories are from our own subreddit and don't have anything to do with legal advice. The first one was posted by user Lady Tanner and is titled Petty Revenge on a Jerk. This happened decades ago. I was on my way to a company picnic and stopped off at a department store to purchase a sun hat. The parking lot was crowded, but a good spot became available. As I was pulling into the spot, a man clipped my bumper when he took the spot. He called me the N-word and entered the store. I pulled out the gizmo that allows you to adjust the firmness of your tires and deflated all 4 of the jerk's tires. I left a note on his windscreen. Since you wanted that parking spot so much, I have made sure you will have it for a long time. And guys, unfortunately, I saw this story a bit too late because Lady Tanner's birthday was apparently on the 27th of February. So in either case, let's all wish her a belated happy birthday. And the next one was posted by user Miriam377 and is titled I feel like such a jerk. Here we go, my tenants moved out with no notice. They asked us if they could break the lease and we said yes. They were the ones that insisted the time period. The lease stipulates that they give us a forwarding address within 10 days, which they never did. We have a friend helping us manage the apartment and he saw that the damage was 4 months worth of rent, a new kitchen was installed and they completely ruined it in 2.5 years. The kids colored all over the walls, there were holes in the walls. It then took them a week to return the keys, claiming they lost it. So 3 weeks later and we finally have the damage assessed and the tenant keeps calling for his deposit back. We tell him he could come by and we have an envelope for him. No, he did not get back a deposit. He owes roughly 3 months rent since we deducted the security deposit for not giving 30 days notice. Well guys, I don't know about you, but I don't think OP is really a jerk in this story. The tenants sound very irresponsible, so I'm curious to hear what my audience thinks about this story. And guys, just because I am in a very happy mood today, we will just read another quickie from r/ripe stories. I hope you don't mind. This one is titled Entitled Old Man Wants the Storage Bin on the Highest Shelf. Posted by user JoeRick1234. A number of years ago, I was on contract in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when I went into Walmart for a few things. When I got to the checkout, I saw that the girl running it was very upset and near tears. When I asked her what was wrong, she said that the old man waiting by the wall of storage bins had been giving her a hard time because he wanted a bin from the very top shelf, even though the bins at floor level were exactly the same. She had called another worker to get a ladder, but it was taking a long time and she was getting the brunt of it. As she was telling me her tale of woe, or woe, I'm not sure, the worker arrived with the ladder and started arguing with the man that the bins near the floor were exactly the same. The checkout girl and I were watching this go down and she started getting even more upset because I was being delayed by this guy. I told her that the temperature outside was 105 with high enough humidity to swim in, and that I was from New Hampshire and not used to that kind of heat, so the longer I stayed in the 72-degree store, the happier I was. I then told her to just relax and she would have a story to tell her grandkids a few decades down the road. She visibly relaxed and watched the rest of the show. The worker finally got the bin off the top shelf and the old man quickly paid for it and left. By the time I paid for my items, she was relaxed and happy, and I was happy to have a story to tell to my grandkids. And of course also to post on the Ripe channel. Not really, YouTube and Reddit did not exist back then. And with that, we have reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's content, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our amazing community. Furthermore, don't forget to go to r/ripe stories on Reddit to post your own stories if you want me to read them out in a video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I see you again tomorrow.